Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to the new backyard. Probably like 10 days ago or so, I posted a little video announcing that we bought this property here. And this time I want to take you around a little bit, show you the land a little more, and hopefully answer some questions that came up in the last video, such as what kind of crazy person puts a shop in a garage when you have a perfectly good barn. So as I mentioned in the previous video, this used to be a horse property. So we have a few of these horse shelter things throughout the property. This one here is in the kind of middle of the property, and we'll kind of keep that as a focal point as we're walking around so we know our bearings. So I have some slabs that I brought over here to stack. I'm going to make use of these little shelters as slab storage areas. And yes, it's only October, and somehow we have a very early winter this year. I'm not really sure what's going on with that one. Anyway, backing up a bit from where we were, that's the shelter we were just at. And to give you some perspective on the land, I got excited last time. I didn't mention how big this property is. This is 22 acres. It's a mostly rectangular lot, and that big ol' needle-bearing evergreen tree right there is roughly in the dead smack center of the parcel. Now it's really hard to show this on camera, but the property is very rolling, which is what we really like about it. So it's very hilly, and well, that's the definition of rolling, is it not? So it makes a really interesting topography and landscape. So if I spin around here, you can see I'm not even at the bottom of the low spot of this property, and the property line is those needle-bearing trees back there along that line. So from this has got to be, if I look at this tree here, if I look straight across, I'm like right there. So this is probably a 30-foot rise to this little mound here, and then the house and the barn and all that stuff is over there. There's probably another 30-foot rise to get up into that area. Now, one of the things that's kind of nice about that is it sort of shields you from the neighbors, but we still have neighbors nearby. So one of the things as we're looking at rural property is we still wanted to have neighbors. We still want to have people close by in case you need help with anything, or it's nice to not be like so far off by yourself. But there's two neighbors just over this hill, and at least from down here you can't even see their houses. The other neighbor is right up here on the front of the property. They've actually been renovating that house, and I was down there the day we closed, and that place has come a long way. So they're doing an amazing job on that property down there. So from this view, you can kind of see the house now. It's just peeking out through there. There's the storage shed and the barn, and then there's that big old tree, which is at the center. So the driveway comes up through all these pine trees over here, which is a really nice scenic drive up this big hill to the house. Now down over here is another one of these little horse shelter things, and then this is the little front area of the field. As I was thinking about places to put the arboretum, I'm thinking this is what is going to become that. One of the nice things about the house is it's perched up on a hill. It has a really nice view looking this way as the sun sets to the west. So we want to try and keep this area, somewhat open to preserve that view. So this right here would be a nice spot for a tree collection. All right, there's my stick pile. I've been pruning the trees already, getting rid of all the dead stuff and making them look a little prettier. So I think we will head up to the barn next. And there's that big tree, and there's where we started. There's my sticks. And we will walk up this hill. Just to give you an idea of what the hill is like, I'm looking straight ahead, and now we'll look up at the barn. So, yeah, pretty good hill. So the lower area of the barn is set up as an area for livestock, and then the top section, the hayloft, the old hayloft, has been finished to finished space. It was previously used as an art studio. And speaking of livestock, I have a small steer in here currently. That's my hopefully only bad joke of this video. So we have a couple of stalls, or I guess technically 4 stalls, 2 on either side of the barn. The barn is 22 feet deep as I'm walking through here, and it's 30 something wide. Total square footage down here is 748 square feet. So the stalls are, well, just that, they're horse stalls. So we have dirt floors in the stall areas. I got some pallets. There you go, Paul Jackman. Free pallets. So yeah, the floors in here are dirt. This side is left as dirt. The opposing side on this side of the barn has a deck floor. So it's been replaced with a wood deck. And I got a few things that the previous owners left me in here. Got the old-timey tool collection, and I also got this shopsmith. So that should be fun. Oh man, that's a weird angle. Oh my gosh. So the answer to the question of why I'm going to be converting the garage into the shop and not the barn, the garage is much, much closer to being move-in ready and is a much nicer space to be in than the barn is. Now, I think the assumption was that the barn's a lot bigger than the garage is, when in reality the barn is 748 square feet and the garage is 650, right around there. By the time you actually fur out the walls for insulating, you'll probably be around 700 square feet. So for an additional 50 square feet, it's not really worth the effort to get this converted to a really working shop right now when I have a perfectly good garage that is basically ready to go. And then through here we have a little tack room area, closet situation, and we come through to the shed and then the driveway and house. So coming over the shed, we're starting to see some nice views as we get in towards the sunset today. Over here, got a little sitting area, and there is also a little shop room in here. This was the previous owner's pottery studio. So the concrete pad there is where the kiln used to be, and then the rest of the floor is wood, and this is not an insulated space. So let's go up to the loft real quick. Around here we have my favorite thing, the diesel tank. I love that thing. Okay, so this is the finished loft space. Whew. So this is probably the equivalent of about a 1.5 car garage or so. It's probably 12 feet wide and 20 feet long. It is set up for like a deck. So there's this nice door here. You can see the property, and the sun is starting to set. There's our center tree. So this was previously set up as an art studio. Not really sure what we're going to use it for quite yet, but it'll be a nice space for sure. We got this big old cottonwood here. This thing is a really, really massive tree, and I love it. One of the things that I noticed when we toured the house was this tree has an old pulley up there. So I guess at some point people were trying to lift things using this tree. So that could be utilized for something in the future, I guess. But there is the garage. It is a 3-car, 3-door, 3-stall style garage. Tuck under, so there is living space above it. So it is extremely similar to the shop I'm in right now, just 50% bigger. The nice thing about the garage, and one of the reasons why it's so much closer to being move-in ready, is that the walls, the doors, the ceiling, and the floor are all insulated, and it has in-floor radiant heat already. Now I just finished painting the floor in here, and it's not quite dry yet. But that is the space which will become the future shop. So it has a couple of additional advantages over the barn. The barn has the 2 support posts in the middle. I currently have 1 in my shop, and it's limiting to say the least. So having a nice big open space is a plus. The ceiling height in here is sort of interesting. So the wall height to this area here is 8.5 feet. And then we have these support beams with some ductwork in them and that is 7 feet from the floor to the bottom of the beam. The current shop I'm in right now, the ceiling height in there is the bottom of that beam. So it's gonna be nice to have the added ceiling height in here. Now, one disadvantage of the shop being in the garage is noise. And this is where things get kind of goofy for me, because I'm more worried about noise coming into the shop versus noise leaving the shop. So at the current shop, because there is living space above it, you can hear the kids screaming and yelling and running around and dropping toys and whatever they're doing up there, and it's loud. But the difference here is, at least, that in my current shop, it's just open joist to the subfloor below. This one is insulated with the drywall there, so it should actually deaden the sound, which I know it has because I've been here with the kids, and it is, you can still hear it, but it's muffled. So it's a little bit better than it was, or it is, at the current shop. So that is this shop, and we'll see more of this thing here in the future. Walking down the driveway a little bit, and we'll head up into the woods over here. The wooded area, we have this section of pine trees which the driveway runs through, and then there is some hardwoods just on the other side of the pine trees. That area is about, probably like maybe 2 acres or so. And I'm gonna head up this hill here. You got some little baby red oaks. So we're just up on this little ridge here. Well, it's not so little, but this is the, I guess technically the front side of the house. And then this is the little wooded area. So there's a lot of stuff that's down. And we turn around up here. You can see the last of the horse shelter over here. We got one more of these things over here, and this is the highest ground of the entire property, up in this area. So as I was talking about doing the garden and the vineyard and the orchard, I figured that's what this section over here could be. Fairly, well, it's all high, and it's fairly flat until we get past this little fenced-in area here. And there's the house again. You can still see it way over there. Behind the diesel tank is our center tree. And this is the area of the field that dips down. It's a really nice rolling area. And if you spin back around, there's our center tree again, and the barn and the house. And now we're back to where we began, and for some more context here, this fence line is where I was walking during the announcement video. So there is our center tree once again, back at the house and the barn. So now we're at the back corner of that first pasture. I'm just going to spin around here and show this area back here, which sort of drops off and then ends up kind of flat down there. At this point, this is where we are thinking we're going to put the shop when that actually happens. One of the things that I really want from a shop is to have a 2-level shop. So this hill here will give me the ability to put the shop right into the hill and have ground access on the second floor, which would be really nice. So there's enough elevation rise here, or it looks like there's probably gonna be enough to put that thing right where I'm standing right now. I'm kind of down at the bottom of the hill now. I was standing kind of up there somewhere, so this would be a nice little spot for the shop someday when that comes around. I'm not really sure where the permanent spot for the sawmill might go. It'll probably be down in here in the flat area, so I'll have this kind of area back here for the shop and the sawmill and everything. So this will be like, I guess, the area of the property that is the business, I suppose. But back here is actually where my 2 walnut trees live. So I have 2 of them that I know of so far. There's one right back there, and then there's one kind of in there somewhere. Both really small. But I got 2 of them that I know of. Looks like we're just in time for a beautiful sunset. So that is a quick walk around the property and what's to come, I suppose. One thing that's sort of changed from the last video is our time frame for renovations on the house. I think originally we were a little too aggressive on that, so our more realistic start date is going to be, you know, maybe next late spring, early summer, or something like that, based on how delayed everything is right now and all the backlogs and everything, which is fine. It's going to give us more time to plan, but it's also put us in this position of, well, if it's only 4 months, it's not that big of a deal. We'll not move here, but if it's going to be that long, we might as well just move here and start enjoying the property. And by move here, I guess that's probably a little strong. We're gonna live here. So we're not gonna be like totally emptying out the old house and bring everything over. We're gonna bring over, you know, things that are needed to be here, but we're not gonna be too crazy about it, because then we'll end up moving back to the other place to live there during the renovation. So it's gonna be a very interesting few, well, it's gonna be a fun winter out here, that's for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. So that kind of brings me back to the garage workshop question thing. With that in mind, or with the move in mind, that means that I am going to be moving my shop starting immediately, which is why I've already started painting in the garage to get it ready to receive all the stuff for the shop. So that'll be coming soon as well. That is a beautiful sunset. So that is the property, and I wasn't, of course I wasn't really planning on moving my shop right now, but that's how life goes sometimes. So I guess I'm now moving a shop. So hopefully that'll go as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I am literally gonna move the shop and just like transplant it. I'm not gonna really change very much about the shop. I say that now, we'll see, but my plan is to use exactly the same layout and just put things where they were in the current shop and just have more room to actually, you know, move around, which is one of the things that I have been wanting for a long time. I'm looking forward to having aisles wider than 18 inches, which would be super nice. So that's a little more on the property, I guess, and hopefully gives you a little better idea of what's all here and what's maybe all to come, sort of. Wow. So I hope you enjoy this quick little walk around the property. Hopefully that answers some questions and all of that. I think Lindsay and I are both still in disbelief that this is it now. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If any questions or comments on the property or anything back in the current shop, please feel free to leave me a comment, as well as be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking. Oh, and I wish I was woodworking and not moving a shop.